Welcome to my first proper video of my channel, everyone. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And today, well, yeah, this will be the very first mark I leave. So I hope you all enjoy it. This video, you can already tell, history of Spider-Man. First of all, we'll start off. He was a little boy. His parents died in a plane crash when he was a little boy. Sucks. But, yeah, so his Uncle Ben, Aunt May, took him in, treated him like a son. He treated them like his mother and father, yeah. And he's a bit of a scrawny kid. Couldn't lift as much. He's a bit like me. Couldn't lift as much in the kids in his year. And he was a bit of a science nerd, which isn't like me. Uncle Ben apparently treats him. Sorry, it's my first video. I'm still learning. I forgot to tell you. All of these facts and timelines stuff came from the Marvel Encyclopedia. So if I get it wrong, it's not based on the very first original comic. If I get it wrong, sorry, I'm just reading what the encyclopedia said. I'm sorry if I got it wrong. I offend you somehow, but yeah, basically, yeah, back to what I was talking about. He treated, yeah, Uncle Ben, he felt like he was his best friend, a bit like my granddad. Love you. And, yeah. But, also, I never understood, he's an uncle, yet he's like 90. How can you be that old for an uncle? He's like Grandpa Max from Ben 10, but he's an uncle. Like, what? Marvel confused me sometimes. That's why DC's better. Joking. I'm sorry, Marvel fanboys. I'm sorry. Sorry if I offended you. But, so he thought Uncle Ben was his best friend. Uncle Ben had a very good sense of humour. Always played pranks on him. Kind of rubbed off on Peter, and that's why Peter is the nice, charming, funny, humorous kid we know today. Yeah, in school he was always bullied. He was a really big science nerd. He'd get top grades. All his teachers would praise him, obviously, but he likes a teacher's pet anyway. But yeah, all of the kids would bully him, as usually, in a normal school. If that doesn't happen, then that's a weird school. But anyway, yeah, so once he was going to a science exhibition, and then, yeah, and he was, it didn't actually specify what the exhibition was about, but I take it was something to do with arachnids, because he got bitten by a spider, so, yeah, and it's not a magical spider, as some people think. It's not one which already had magical abilities which passed them on to him. It was just a normal house spider, but had been exposed to tons and tons of radiation. And it was, a fun lesson for everyone, it was the scientific term of the spider was the genus Misumena. And I got that from the Spider-Man Annual, so, yeah, I've been doing research. But yeah, anyway, so, yeah, and then Spider bit him, and a few hours later, he got amazing arachnid abilities to climb walls, I can't think of anything else. And one day he went in, and he tried to use his powers to get money, and yeah, and then he got into show business, like acting and chisney like that. And then one day, I haven't read the comic, so I'm not 100% sure if this is true, but it's what the encyclopedia said. But it said one day there was a thief or something which ran from this isn't from the movie, this is from the encyclopedia. Read it if you don't believe me. But yeah, so one day there was a thief who ran from the box office, and the high security guard was like, "Oi, stop that man!" And for reasons oblivious to me, Peter Parker was like, "Nah, I'm alright." And then he was like, "Thanks." And then he went down the elevator, and then, yeah, and then a couple days later, the same burglar broke into, guess what? Uncle Ben's apartment. Well, Uncle Ben and Aunt May's. And he was robbing, and Uncle Ben tried to stop him, and he killed him. And then Peter learnt in the hardest way possible that with great power comes great responsibility. And, yeah. So Peter vows that he won't let any innocent people be hurt like that again, like he was, because Spider-Man failed to act. So then he began to fight crime, and he gathered up a rather large rogues gallery like Chameleon, Vulture, Lizard, Doc Ock, Venom, Green Goblin, Hobgoblin, Electro. I could go on for hours. His rogues gallery rivals even Batman's, which, even if you're a Marvel fanboy, you have to admit, that is pretty impressive. I don't know if it's just because I'm DC, but I genuinely think Batman has the best rogues gallery in Marvel and DC. I'm just feeling it, you know? But anyway, yeah, so eventually he graduated from Midtown High with the highest scholastic average in his school history. And then he got into the Empire State University, and yeah, and that's where he met Mary Jane and Harry Jordan? No, sorry, not Harry Jordan. He's a kid at my school. Sorry, Harry. Harry Osborn. And, yeah, contrary to popular beliefs, he did not meet them in high school. He met them in university. So, yeah. And he also met Gwen Stacy, daughter of Captain Stacy. And, yeah, and he started dating her. One day, he was fighting some villain. I think her name was the Queen. I think it was something like the Queen or something. And she turned him into a real-life spider. But as you do, he just transformed back into a human. And he discovered that he had increased strength. He could actually shoot proper organic webbing from his actual thing. Instead of just having web shooters like he did originally, now he could shoot like... Yeah. And then the Civil War dropped on them like a pile of stones, and then, as you all know, if you have read the comic, I don't know, it is a very good comic. I have read it. I recommend it for you. Brilliant. I think it was 9 or 7 issues. I think it was 9, but I may be incorrect. I haven't read it for a long time. But yeah, if you've read it, then you'll know Peter Parker, he sided with Iron Man, registered with the government, and even went as far as to exposing his identity to the whole world, which... if you're a true Marvel fanboy, you'll know that Peter Parker is the most protective of his identity in the whole Marvel universe, so that was a big leap. And, yeah, and then, but eventually he sided with Captain America, can't remember why, but he sided with Captain America in the end. But on his way there, I think it was, Green Goblin and, who else? Some guy with a flaming pumpkin for a head. This is a cool costume. I don't know if it's a costume, actually. I can't remember his name. But anyway. Yeah, so Civil War started, blah, 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 blah. It finished, he registered, he became Captain America, blah, 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 all that stuff happened, Civil War finished. And then, yeah, and then he just tried to, and then one day, because all the villains now know his identity, they knew who he was, so they tried to kill him. So Kingpin hired an assassin, and he shot him, but he dodged it and hit Aunt May, and then there's a whole huge long comic. I'm not going to go into it, but eventually Mephisto offers a deal to them, saying that he'll change the timeline so she never got shot and no one figured out his identity in exchange for their marriage. So they said, alright. So that happened, blah, blah, blah. He woke up next day with no Mary Jane. He was still living with Aunt May, looking for an apartment. Yeah, and then, but some things hadn't changed. J. Jonah Jameson was still being a bumhole. And there's tons of money which he's pretty much stolen from Peter, because he didn't give him it. So Peter confronted him, and then they got into a shouting match. J. Jonah Jameson had a heart attack. He's like... And then, Peter had to resuscitate him and give him CPR. And yeah. And then also another time, I remember this. It was when J. Jameson was sick. His wife took over the Daily Bugle for like a couple of weeks, and then he came back. And then Peter Parker told him she'd sold it when he was ill, and he had another heart attack. I like that. But yeah. And eventually Peter just got so fed up with him, anyone would, and he moved to Ben Urich's. Sorry, I can't remember how to pronounce his surname. Urich? It's Urich. Ben Urich, whatever, his new paper called Frontline, like the army's frontline, but like Frontline. And yeah, and then this is the end of Peter Parker. Basically, Dr. Octopus had a major disease. He was dying in prison, and he used a machine which he created called the Octobot, which transferred their minds and swapped it. So Peter was in his dying body, and before he could warn anyone what happened, he died, which sucks. And eventually Doc Ock really regretted killing him, so he went back in... No, wait, what? Yeah, he didn't go back in time, sorry. Doc Ock really regretted it, but then he discovered that some of Peter's mind and memories were still in there, and he could communicate to him. But I don't understand this, because it said he regretted it, yet then they had a psychic battle, I don't know why. And, yeah, Doc Ock won, deleted all Peter's memories from his mind, and he tried to become a better Spider-Man than Peter ever could. He created Spider-Bots and underlings to help him patrol New York City. And the world was peaceful and nice and calm. And that is the sad and tragic end of the story of Peter Parker. But wait, there's more. But I'm not going to go into it because this video is already way too long and you're probably bored out of your mind, and I'll finish it now, but I still don't have a good outro. But the next video will be about fun facts, and I'll see you in the next video. Also, can you please comment some recommendations for an intro and an outro, because I need help. I seriously have none. I was thinking of one going like, and I'll see you in the next episode of Hero Hub. Bye. But it sounds a bit cheesy, so I don't know. I'm gonna finish this video because you're probably bored, so but anyway. See ya!